I'm T1J. Follow me on Twitter. So it seems to be the case that human beings naturally focus on negative things rather than positive things, that we feel negative emotions like anger, fear, regret, and mistrust more readily and more intensely than we do positive ones, and we're more driven by a desire to avoid negative experiences than we are to pursue positive experiences. Like personally, I hate roller coasters. I think they're terrifying. So if my friends get together and they're like, we should go to an amusement park, I'm super hesitant about that, even though I don't have to get on a roller coaster, like no one's got a gun to my head, and it would probably be super fun to go hang out with my friends, but I'm just mentally averse to the idea. Because what if someone makes me get on a roller coaster? Now this could be a trait that our ancestors evolved in order to avoid danger. In prehistoric times, being paranoid and worrisome was probably more likely to keep you alive than just giving everyone and everything the benefit of the doubt. And the aversion to negativity and loss also plays a role. For example, if an animal finds more food than it had before, I'm sure it's pretty pumped about that, but that doesn't have a huge impact. However, if that animal loses the food that it already had, then it might die, so it's more motivated to prevent that from happening. We're also seemingly biased to negativity and social judgments. A person who's known to be a liar could decide one day that they were going to start telling the truth, but even if they do, they'll still probably be known by most people as that motherfucker that lies all the time. However, a person who's known to be honest could get caught in one lie, and then all of their friends will immediately start questioning their honesty. So I think that we find negative information to be more valuable and more enlightening. We respond and react to bad news, but often fail to appreciate good news, which is why your local news station often looks like this. This just in, everything gives you cancer, your neighbors are trying to kill you, and the world is going to hell. Back to you, Bob. This is also why politicians running for office often don't focus on how awesome they are and instead focus on how much their opponent sucks.
Raise taxes on the wealthy. My Social Security payroll contribution will go up, as will Donald's, assuming he can't figure out how to get out of it. But what we want to do is to replenish the Social Security Trust Fund.
Negativity also appears to be contagious. If you spend a lot of time around people who are mean or gossipy or sad, that can rub off on you. And I know this because it's happened to me before. One reason I think we tend to focus on negativity is because positive behavior is expected. Like, you expect people to be honest, you expect people to be kind, so when it happens, it doesn't seem extraordinary to you. But things like dishonesty and rudeness are often unexpected, so they have a greater impact on our emotional response. And some of you may be thinking, well, that makes sense, right? Like, you may miss a couple of cool things, but at least you avoid negative things. But that's not always the case. Negativity bias and loss aversion can often have detrimental effects. Like, imagine you work at this really cool company and they hire you and they're like, okay, everyone here makes $50,000 a year, but we like you. I think you got the qualifications. You're going to take this company far. We're going to offer you $75,000 a year. That sounds pretty cool for you, at least. Now imagine the same situation, everything's exactly the same, except however this time they're like, okay, everyone here makes $200,000 a year, but our budget had to be cut a little bit, so we can only offer you $100,000 a year. Studies in behavioral economics have shown that more people will choose the first situation, even though you end up with less money, because the second situation comes with a feeling of regret and loss, which apparently people are literally willing to pay to avoid. So what is considered a negative experience is often very subjective and sometimes completely irrational. In my last video, I mentioned how reading the YouTube comments wasn't fun anymore, and this is in spite of the fact that the majority of comments are either positive or constructive. It's just that the negative ones draw a stronger emotional response. So negativity bias is normal, but just because something is normal doesn't mean it's good for you. Avoiding negativity at all costs may reduce occurrences of regret and sadness, but it also may reduce opportunities for success, fun, wisdom, or experience. Since focusing on bad things seems to be the default state of our brain, I think that we have to make a conscious effort to think more positively and constructively. I think that's the only way that we can address the bias, unless you just are naturally good at being positive. We need to try and relish the good things that happen to us, even the small victories. Like, I did 30 push-ups today. That's not a whole lot, but I'm proud of myself. I think we should go out of our way to seek out opportunities for fun and happiness and success rather than spend all our time and effort avoiding bad things. And when applicable, I think we should try to reframe our negative experiences into positive ones. Like, I went to McDonald's the other day and I got a Big Mac because I was like, I haven't had one of these in a while. I'll try it. And you know what? It wasn't really that good. It's basically just like a bread and lettuce sandwich. That's like 90% of it. Now that sounds like a bad experience, but now I have the knowledge calls it Big Macs are gross, and I'm glad I know that now. I guarantee you I will use that wisdom in the future. Now I want to elaborate that I don't think that this is something that is easy, that we can just snap our fingers and overnight become super positive people if we weren't before. But if it's something that you want to do, like most things, it's something you can practice and get better at. I'm also not saying that negative feedback is useless and that we should ignore all bad things. I think it's important to acknowledge negative circumstances, especially so we can learn from them. And I'm not saying that we should give everything the benefit of the doubt and trust everyone and everything we see and hear. I'm just saying that by default, most people put way too much emphasis on negativity, which can lead to undue cynicism and frustration. I think if you take a rational and balanced look at the world, there's just as much to be happy and optimistic about as anything else. That's just me though. Thank you for watching this video. Check out this video I made about this crazy election we're about to have in the United States. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to all of the new subscribers. How you doing? And remember, be honest, be assertive, be kind, and be open-minded. If you agree with that, can you throw me a Heiko in the comments? And subscribe if you like my hair. Thank you once again for watching my video. For those that don't know, I'm a full-time YouTube creator, and the only way that I'm able to do that is through your support, and a large portion of that support comes through Patreon. Now, Patreon is a crowdfunding site for people like me with ongoing creative projects. It's kind of like an online tip jar where you can set it up to donate just a couple bucks every time I make a new video. So if you find any value in my channel or my videos, or if you just want to support me, please consider signing up for Patreon. That would be super amazing and totally appreciated. But even if you don't feel like it, or if you can't, that's fine too. I just thank you for watching.